Thank you, Dan. Good evening once again. A slow start probably cost Sheffield United promotion last season, but no team has taken more points since Paul Heckingbottom's appointment in November, and they have been the early pace setters without a defeat since the opening game. Luton, like the Blades, lost in the playoffs last season, but have taken longer to ride that punch, although they got their first win at Swansea last week. One change for the Hatters from that 2-0 win in South West Wales. Carlton Morris scored his first goal for the club following his move from Barnsley in that game, and he has been rewarded with a start. Admiral Musque, the Zimbabwean international, drops to the bench. Their team is Horvath in goal, Burke, Lockyer and Potts, three at the back, Bree, Campbell, Clark and Bell across midfield, Adebayo, Freeman and Morris in attack. Three changes for Sheffield United. The big news for the Blades is that John Fleck picked up a leg fracture in that 3-0 win against Blackburn last week. He could be out for some time. So James McAtee, the 19-year-old on loan from Manchester City, comes into the starting lineup. Already an England under-21 international, and he could get a prolonged run in the team now. That's one of three changes. Chris Basham also comes in for the one permanent signing so far during the transfer window. That's Anel Ahmedhodzic, who has a knock, only fit enough for the bench. Reda Kadra is also missing from the matchday squad, and he is replaced by Iliman Ndiaye, who scored 2 goals as a replacement last week. So their team is Foderingham in goal, Norrington Davis, Egan and Basham the back three, Baldock, Berger, Norwood, McAtee and Lowe in midfield, Ndiaye and McBurney in attack. Courtney Sweetman-Kirk is alongside me. Of course, you're a striker, and looking at the combination up front for Sheffield United, we often talk about a big player and a small player. Now we've got a big player and an even bigger player.
Yeah, we have there, but you know, in terms of, you know, those relationships, it's about doing opposite movements. So obviously you do look at the physicality of the players, but the big thing for me is making sure you're always doing opposite movements on opposite lines, and I think we see that, you know, from both sides tonight as well, in terms of both very dynamic sides and very fluid going forward. So it's going to be a great one to watch.
John Egan, the Sheffield United captain, just meeting with the match officials in the centre circle. Dan Potts has the Luton armband. Of course, Kai Naismith moved on to Bristol City during the transfer window, and I think he'll be a significant absentee for Luton, not just because of his defensive ability, but also his deliveries at the other end. Yeah,
he had a fantastic delivery, didn't he? And I believe he sort of started off life as a forward, so that makes sense in terms of that ability. But yeah, it's I think it'll be a big loss for Luton.
And both sets of players are lining up around the centre circle before kick-off. David Webb is our referee. Sheffield United wearing a predominantly white kit this evening with a red and black stripe down the centre of their shirts. Luton in the home kit, which is orange with white flashes, black shorts and orange socks. And it's Sheffield United who will get the game underway here. Luton Town lining up on the edge of the centre circle as Sheffield United do not take the knee, but there is pre-match applause from them. The Luton team stand as a mark of respect as well before they break back into their formation. Sheffield United will be attacking from left to right in the first half as we look out from the main stand here, attacking towards the Kenilworth Road end, which is full as always. Another sellout crowd here, around 1,000 supporters supporting Sheffield United away to our left. And the football weekend is off and underway across the TalkSport network at the top of the Sky Bet Championship. Sheffield United looking to move 4 points clear against a Luton team hoping for their second league win of the season, and they're quickly on the attack. Carlton Morris looking to outmuscle the challenge of Norrington Davis midway inside the Sheffield United half. Morris is claiming his shirt was being pulled, but it's Sheffield United who get the free kick.
Yeah, it was very much 6 of one and half a dozen of the other there, but I like that from Carlton Morris in terms of just making himself known early on, and he's a real handful for defenders, isn't he?
Relegated with Barnsley last season, scored 7 times, and led the line well at times in what was a difficult campaign before moving back to the Championship. Now Ndiaye inside the penalty area for Sheffield United down their right, but he's denied the opportunity to break into the penalty area by Tom Lockyer, and the Welsh international stabs it out of play on this near side, and Sheffield United will have a throw-in very close to the corner flag, and there is an opportunity for Luton to try and clear their lines here. It's long down the line looking for Adebayo, but Berger wins it back, lofted high towards the edge of the penalty area where Lockyer rises to head the ball away again, but now Berger plays it wide to Baldock down the right. The early cross into the penalty area was seeking out McBurney, but Luton are able to repel that, and the final touch was off Amari Bell on this near side, and the Blades have a throw-in.
Yeah, it's a really positive start from Blades, as what we used to see in Baldock, getting down that right hand side, getting crosses in the box and putting Luton under pressure early.
Berger again is known for his style, but the Norwegian does have a high degree of physicality as well as Baldock. The Greek international now just runs into Amari Bell. Baldock is one of a number of players around the EFL and also the Premier League who is finding ancestry he possibly didn't know he had. And he's now an international footballer at the age of 29. And the Greek fans absolutely love him with his dashes down the right. The ball bobbles out of play, and Ethan Horvath will take a goal kick for Luton. 2.5 minutes played here. 0-0 at Kenilworth Road. It's a grey, humid evening. Very little blue sky overhead now, and the darkness just beginning to fully descend as we head towards September, as it's headed away by Lockyer again. Berger quickly infield. McAtee looks to win it back for Sheffield United, but he's lost out, and Campbell now brings it forward for Luton. McAtee slips and Campbell's away down the right. Low ball into the penalty of the shot and turn from Carlton Morris, and it's sliced wide in the end, but it was a really good opportunity.
Yeah, it was a good opportunity, and I'm just wondering if Luke Freeman there on the edge of the box, I know that Carlton Morris has taken this on the spin and he goes close in all fairness, but I just wonder if Freeman was in a better position there to run onto that and hit it first time facing the goal rather than having to turn and take the snapshot the way that Carlton Morris did.
Well, Freeman jogged back to the halfway line shaking his head, and maybe he is of the same opinion as well, and as a player who joined Luton from Sheffield United, he will be very keen to make an early impact here. Hasn't scored since his time with the Blades in the Premier League, as Adebayo now chases down the centre, but Egan will guide it back to Sfodringham, who clears long downfield left-footed, quickly headed back in field though by Bree, and Luton here beginning to find their feet with 4 minutes played here on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL. 0-0 at Kenilworth Road as Berger comes forward now for Sheffield United, wide towards the far side, and there's an opportunity for the Blades to orchestrate their first attack down their left, and Ndiaye plays it further wide to Norrington Davis. In the end though, he was quickly closed down, and it's Campbell, who has been very busy in the opening stages, who comes away with the ball. Nathan Jones is furious with the referee that Luton did not get a free kick there, and he's gesticulating wildly towards the officials.
Yeah, he's not very happy with that, but the referee David Webb, I think he's just trying to let as much go as he can in these early stages of the game. That's the thing, if you sort of blow in your whistle and give him free kicks and fouls away early, you set yourself up for a long night as a referee.
And Ndiaye in pursuit again down the left-hand side, but this time the challenge comes in and it's cleared away on the far side, and it will be a throw-in for Sheffield United. And there's been a real tempo from both teams in the opening 5 minutes here, and both with opportunities as well. Max Lowe will take a throw-in for Sheffield United, almost level with the edge of the penalty area, in towards McBurney, and it's turned back out towards the edge of the box, in towards Baldock, and now Norwood tries to guide it further wide towards Berger, but Luton will clear, and Adebayo working really hard to put his body between himself and Chris Basham and ensure that Luton almost won the ball back. Freeman then lofts it forward, but it clatters off the roof of the main stand here, and out of play on the near side for a throw-in to Sheffield United. And Chris Basham back in the Sheffield United team, now 34 years of age, only made one sub-appearance before tonight this season, displaced by Anel Ahmedhodzic, but an injury to the Bosnian international, giving him another opportunity, and he's somebody who has never let the Blades down on their journey up and down the divisions. Baldock will take a throw-in for Sheffield United on this near side, in towards Ndiaye again, who twists and turns away from Bell. The cross into the near post is headed away by Lockyer, quickly recovered by McAtee, and now Norwood pings it wide onto the chest of Baldock again down the right, but he just overruns the ball as he tries to deliver a low cross into the penalty area, and that's a goal kick to Luton with 6.5 minutes played, and it's still 0-0.
Yeah, and I think that's something that the Blades might struggle with tonight. I'm thinking that, you know, other stadiums and Bramall Lane, it's a much bigger pitch there, so, you know, Baldock is really hugging the touchline, but he's still running out of space. So that switch of play, the balls into the wide players have got to be absolutely pinpoint, and then Baldock, the touch just gets away from him ever so slightly, so again your touches have got to be absolutely pinpoint tonight.
Luton beginning the game 19th in the table, 1 win, 2 draws and 2 defeats so far. That victory coming by 2-0 at Swansea last week. Sheffield United top of the table. They lost in their opening game at Watford, but 3 wins since then, all at home against Millwall, Sunderland and Blackburn, and they've also picked up a point on the road against their former manager Chris Wilder with Middlesbrough. As Luton come forward again now, 4 forward in this attack, and it's played wide by Clark to the far side, and Campbell, his cross squirts back towards Clark on the edge of the box, across in for the right hand side, looking for Morris, headed away by a stooping Basham, and now Ndiaye will play the ball back towards Norwood, and a high ball from him looking for McBurney. McBurney does well to win the ball initially in the air. He was challenged by Lockyer, but now Ndiaye offering support. McBurney was looking for the free kick there but got nothing. Luton now go very direct. Egan twisting and stumbling inside the penalty area. Did he use his hand to control the ball there? The assistant was up with play on the far side, and all he's given is a throw into Luton.
Yeah, and Adebayo is adamant that it hit a hand in there, and Blades, in terms of that defensively, just didn't deal with the long ball very well there. 2 players and not communicating, both of them just almost watching the ball as Adebayo's running, and yeah, I think it's Egan, is it, he sort of stumbles, and it looks like it potentially did hit a hand, but yeah, I think Blades are lucky to get away with one there.
And Egan may argue that there was no intent and his body wasn't in the natural position. Freeman with the ball into the penalty area, headed away by Basham. Now Bell will recover it for Luton on this near side, just in front of us. He will take on Baldock, comes in field, then goes on the outside, but Baldock stuck with him well and just gets a foot in, and it's a throw into Luton on this near side.
Yeah, does really well there, Baldock. I did think Amari Bell was going to get away from him, twisting and turning, cutting the ball back inside, but Baldock does everything right there, stands up and makes the challenge in the end.
Bell will take a throw in on this near side. Not too much room to wind up for the long throw here, but he gets distance towards the edge of the 6-yard area, and it's headed away straight back to him by Norwood. Bell now with a cross drifted in, Morris with a header, and Luton Town take the lead against the championship leaders, and it's Carlton Morris with his first goal at Kenilworth Road. Amari Bell with a great delivery, but nobody for Sheffield United reacted at all. Carlton Morris completely unmarked with a glancing header, and with 9 minutes played, it's Luton 1, Sheffield United 0.
I tell you what, this is all about the ball from Amari Bell. As you say, he takes a long throw and it comes back to him. A nice first touch to set him up, and the way he puts this ball in, it's driven. It's a beautiful ball. It's not lofted. It's got loads of pace on it. So then when Carlton Morris meets it, all he has to do is just flick it off his head. He does really well, goes across Wed Fodringham. It goes into the top right hand corner. Wed Fodringham is a fantastic keeper, but there's no way he's getting to this, and it's a fantastic goal from Luton.
Great delivery, as you say, but if you're Sheffield United, how many players did you have in there and nobody jumped?
Well, yeah, that is one of the issues in terms of the defensive abilities there. As you say, there were so many Blades players in the box, so many white shirts, and no one seems to take responsibility for Carlton Morris or to get out to try and block the cross of Amari Bell.
Now Baldock coming forward for Sheffield United. They've not been behind on too many occasions recently, but they're behind here on TalkSport 2 by a goal to 0 with 10 minutes played. Was that zonal marking, and everybody was marking space and nobody was marking Carlton Morris? Very
potentially, but I think, you know, at that point it should be man for man. When it's in open play, you should know who your players are, especially they'll do the analysis. They know that Amari Bell's got a long throw, so you should probably be setting that up pretty much as a corner, but as you say, the defending in the box was an issue, but for me, no one gets out to Amari Bell fast enough. He's got time to take a touch, pick his ball out, and it's poor defending.
And now Luton coming forward again now with Freeman. Wide to the overlapping Burke. Early cross into the penalty area, looking for Adebayo. And Baldock has time to bring the ball under control, plays it back in field to Basham. Not sure he was appreciating the pass there, and then Baldock is closed down by Adebayo. Baldock turns inside to Basham and says, why you give me the ball there? And I think Basham was saying the same to him.
Yeah, they're not overly happy with each other, are they? But, like we said in the pre-match to this, in terms of when you get to Kenilworth Road, when they start well, when the crowd get behind him, it's a very, very unbelievable atmosphere, and it's something that you don't find everywhere, and you can see it now. The fans are so loud. It's only 12 minutes in, they're a goal up, and the atmosphere is absolutely electric.
Yeah, Kenilworth Road was shaking when that header went in from Carlton Morris. We were here for a number of memorable games late in the season last year when Luton were unlikely playoff semi-finalists as McAtee launches the ball forward. I bet he didn't learn that from Pep Guardiola. One bounce into the arms of Ethan Horvath. Now Burke with another long ball played forward again. We can see the Luton game just looking to hit Carlton Morris and Elijah Adebayo as quickly as possible, and by doing that they are pinning back both of the wing backs as well. But here is McAtee forward towards McBurney. Clever flick to try and release Lowe down the left hand side, but Lockyer will play it back towards the American Ethan Horvath, who clears long downfield, flicked inside by Morris, and Campbell again looking to shake off the challenge of McAtee. And according to the referee, McAtee won the ball.
I think when you're looking at that back three as well, especially look at the pace of Adebayo and Ahmed Hodzic, I think he brings lots of pace.
Now Ndiaye winning the ball well for Sheffield United on the edge of the penalty area. Wide to his right, and Berger with the high cross to the far post. All the way back to Lowe back to Norwood. First time ball into the penalty area. Ndiaye controls with his back to goal, looking to turn, but it's so congested in there. Ndiaye eventually gets the shot in, which is blocked. The clearance falls to Baldock now on this right hand side. Shuttled infield towards Sander Berg. Berg takes it himself now. High cross towards the far post, looking for McBurney, but he was stood stock still, and it's cleared away long downfield again by Bree up to the halfway line, and Egan has to step in before Elijah Adebayo and head the ball away, but Adebayo was quickly back at him, but now Egan can play it infield towards Norwood. 13 minutes played. Frenetic start to this game. Luton leading by a 0 on the home of the EFL. Talk Sport 2. Busy day coming up in game day tomorrow as well, as Basham plays it wide to this near side, and Baldock. Now Ndiaye wide again towards Baldock, and Sheffield United have 4 players for a potential overload down the right hand side. Berger dinks it back into the penalty area. Baldock is still forward, but he's forced outside the box by Freeman. Now the challenge comes in from Norwood, and eventually the goal scorer Carlton Morris will send the ball behind for a corner.
You see, for Blades, it's unbelievably congested when they go forward, and there's always an orange shirt in their face. They get back into shape, Luton, ever so quickly, and they make it so difficult on this tight pitch.
First corner of the game, and it's for Sheffield United on this near side. Ollie Norwood will take it, and it's an outswinger high to the far post. Good leap from Burke to head the ball away, and then Baldock retreating just shoves over Jordan Clark, and he will receive the game's first yellow card. And Baldock is saying, look, what could I do? We were simply 2 bodies crossing each other, but didn't look that way to us.
No, I think he knew he was in a foot race, and it could have spelled a lot of danger there for Blades, and I think that's what you call taking one for the team.
And he will have to manage that yellow card for at least 75 minutes. George Baldock. Luton here leading by a 0 and on top since the goal from Carlton Morris. Dan Potts with the free kick. High diagonal towards the far side. There looked to be some holding down there on Morris on the edge of the area, but he wins the ball anyway. Plays it wide towards Campbell. And Luton here playing a very effective game at the moment. And Sheffield United are yet to get to grips with it. Another high ball from Clark towards Adebayo inside the area. Good leap though from Basham to clear Berger. Then Luton's out to Freeman. Freeman wins it back. Bell now inside the penalty area. Low ball across the box. Looking for the run of Campbell from midfield, and it's cleared away by Egan. And once again, there are Sheffield United players gesticulating to each other. The body language is not good.
No, and it's fantastic work though from Freeman, the way he wins the ball back, but then the presence of mind to calmly play the ball down to Amari Bell on the left hand side, but this time his cross is cut out.
And now Lockyer will just allow a header from McAtee to drift out of play. 16 minutes played here. Luton Town leading by a goal to nil. Coming up tomorrow on Game Day on TalkSport, Manchester United travelling to Southampton at 12:30 with Sam Matterface, Reshman Chowdhury and Dean Ashton. Interesting game now on TalkSport 2, Sunderland against Norwich, and who will be inside the Sunderland technical area. News today that Alex Neil has been discussing a move to Stoke City. Of course, Nathan Jones made that move and probably regrets it. Maybe not financially, but in terms of his career, he was grateful for Luton to give him a second chance. As Baldock with a low cross into the penalty area, it deflects kindly for Sheffield United initially, and then the shot from McAtee takes a deflection and goes behind for a corner.
Yeah, and that's better from the Blades. I think what they've been able to do is catch Luton out of shape because they've missed the press, they've played the ball quickly, and it's just allowed them a little bit more time on the ball and to exploit the spaces that Luton left there.
Corner kick underneath the old clock here at Kenilworth Road for Sheffield United on the far side. Their left, out towards the edge of the penalty area, and it's volleyed by Nord. He really caught hold of that. It actually hit Berger, his teammate, and then the ball back into the penalty area. It's a complete miss kick. Loops high into the air from McAtee and into the arms of Horvath.
Yeah, and he caught that really well, didn't he, Norwood? To me, it's in the middle of the box, and it looked like the ball was going to find the top left-hand corner there if it hadn't have hit Sander Berger. Reminds me of Beckham and Scholes. It was, when we know Norwood, he's got fantastic ability, technical ability, and it for all the world looked like it was going to hit that top left-hand corner.
Horvath, who was fouled as he gathered that ball, will take the free kick. 18 minutes played here. Luton 1, Sheffield United 0. And Luton win another free kick inside the Sheffield United half. Ollie McBurney with the challenge on Jordan Clark this time. One of a number of fine players who have emerged from the lower divisions for Luton. Their scouting, headed up by Mick Hartford, is really good. Of course, he arrived from Accrington, and a club with a small budget really punch above their weight in terms of recruitment.
Yeah, and I think that's then where you have to focus, isn't it? If you know that you've not got the budget just to go and buy players willy-nilly, you've got to really look at your analysis and your scouting. It's obviously something that Luton have done extremely well.
Free kick, high towards the far post again. McBurney rising to nod the ball clear, under pressure from Lockyer. Now Bell with another ball swept to the far post. Adebayo does well to bring the ball down, and he's forced wide to the far side. Now Freeman, twisting and turning on the edge of the penalty area, high ball to the far post, overhit and into the arms of Foderingham.
Yeah, again, Blades a little bit better there in terms of getting their shape, getting bodies behind the ball, but again, I still think Amari Bell's got too much time there to get the cross, and I think Baldock needs to engage him a lot earlier to stop the cross coming in.
Now it's wide to Basham on this near side for Sheffield United, one of the famous overlapping central defenders. And he's won a free kick following a challenge by Carlton Morris, and Ollie Norwood will take it. And Sheffield United are just working their way back into the game after a torrid 10 minutes or so in which they conceded the opening goal. Also coming up tomorrow here on TalkSport 2, we have Brentford against Everton at 3 o'clock with Ian Danta and Alvin Martin. Adrian Durham will have all the goals as they go in. As a high ball is played into the penalty area from McAtee, fisted away by Horvath. Game Day Live with Adrian Durham from 2:30 on TalkSport. And then on Tuesday night, Adrian will be around the grounds from 6 o'clock on TalkSport 2, 7 o'clock on TalkSport, Two big nights in the Premier League and the EFL, Tuesday and Wednesday. We begin our coverage of the Papa John's Trophy on TalkSport 2 on Tuesday night, 7:45, Crawley against Portsmouth. Wednesday night, 7 o'clock kick-off, Charlton against Gillingham. As Clark brings it forward now for Luton Town again, wide towards Bree. Wide on the right-hand side. Freeman takes over, wide towards Bree again. Bree with the high cross in, and this time the header from Adebayo is over the top, but both he and Morris were leaping, and Sheffield United looked very uncomfortable.
Yeah, again, I think Adebayo there is disappointed with himself, and rightly so, because he should do better. I don't think either Basham or Egan do enough there to put him off in terms of giving him a nudge, and it almost looks like a free header there, and as you say, Nigel, the Blades really are struggling. And don't get me wrong, they're quality ball, in the box for Luton, but they've got to defend their man better.
Elijah Adebayo with 16 goals last season, yet to score during the current campaign. Now Clark with another driving run forward, and he's been hauled back by McAtee. That will be a second yellow card for Sheffield United, and the 19-year-old on loan from Manchester City. And if you recognise the name McAtee, his brother John, elder brother, is a striker in the EFL with Luton in League 2, but James receives a yellow card there, so another key player for Sheffield United will have to walk that disciplinary tightrope for some time. And if you missed the news before kick-off, John Fleck picked up a leg fracture in the win last week against Blackburn, so one of Sheffield United's key players at the heart of midfield looks like he'll be out for some time. Lockyer with the free kick, wide to this near side. Adebayo rising to nod the ball in field. Campbell, though, is beaten to it by Norwood. Just in front of us, and Dye brings it forward now. Infield to McBurney. Tries to play a reverse ball down the channel for and Dye, but it's blocked off, but it spins back towards McBurney on the halfway line. And now Lowe joining in, plays it back to Norwood. And McBurney will leave it this time, because Norrington Davis plays a low ball towards him inside the penalty area, and it's eventually scraped away by Clark, and Morris will play it wide to the far side, and the fair-haired Bree.
I think what Luton are doing very well is they're attacking quickly on the transition. As I said earlier, in terms of that back three for Blades, it's probably not the fastest, and you've got electric plays for Luton up front, especially in Adebayo, and that's where the Blades are really struggling to contain Luton. And you say they don't want to get caught in the foot race, so they're making fouls on the halfway line.
Well, there was plenty going on off the ball there. Carlton Morris and Rhys Norrington Davis were entangled on the ground, and neither was giving an inch as Sheffield United defended in their left back area. And David Webb, who is having a conversation with two players who tower over him, is now trying to lay down the law.
I think he's very much been like that, though, since the start of the game, hasn't it? Big challenges going in. No, none of these players wanting to give an inch to their opposite number.
Well, it was a fairly lifeless 0-0 draw here this weekend last season, but very different so far today with 24 minutes played. Sheffield United won the match by 2-0 at Bramall Lane, but they have not met on too many occasions, only 4 times in the previous 25 years, and Sheffield United's last win here was back in December of 1994, 6-3. John Hartson scored for Luton before he made his way to Arsenal and elsewhere in the Premier League, and players like Kevin Gage, Glyn Hodges and Carl Viart were on the score sheet for Sheffield United, which now seems a lifetime ago. They just dropped out of the Premier League for the first time. Sheffield United were founder members, of course, back in 1992. Luton Town just missed out. They were relegated just before the Premier League was formed, although two legends, Brian Stein and Mick Harford, both scored in their last win here during their previous meeting in the top flight. Mick Harford, of course, is still very much part of Luton Town behind the scenes as well, as Berger had his shirt pulled by Freeman on this near side, but Freeman comes away with the ball, and he's got support on the overlap from Bell, but Freeman just checks back towards the edge of the penalty area, slides it in towards Adebayo at the near post. Campbell was also in there, and he did well to keep the ball alive inside the 6-yard area before it was claimed by Foderingham.
He did well, and initially it's a great run from Freeman, and I just wanted him to keep going. I want him to cut across Baldock So, you know, in that position, if you get in front of the defender, you know that they've got to take you down or you can keep going. He doesn't. He turns back. But then from that point, none of the Blaze defence engage him. He again can run into the box. You know, the ball isn't good enough, but it's danger signs for me in that back line for Blaze. No one's taking responsibility at the moment.
26 minutes played. A trip to Kenilworth Road is always a test for any team looking to get promotion, whichever division you're in, and at the moment Sheffield United are really at the sharp end here, top of the table but a goal down with 19 minutes to play in the first half as Potts plays a high diagonal ball forward towards the edge of the penalty area. Good leap from Norrington Davis under pressure from Morris to clear, and now McAtee gathers again, launches it high over the top and beyond Ndiaye and through towards Horvath. And James McAtee had a fine season for Manchester City in Premier League 2, 18 goals last season for midfield, but people always say that academy football is very different to the real thing, and James McAtee may be having a fairly steep learning curve at the moment.
Yeah, he's not been able to get into the game as much as he would like today. I saw him against Sunderland, and again he grew into the game, so there's definitely a lot to come from him. But as you say, it's a completely different style of play and way of playing, but it will definitely benefit him in the long run.
You've got to learn somewhere, and probably the Championship is maybe better than Premier League 2 in the long term. Campbell there has been taken out by Basham, but Basham won the ball and play continues, and McAtee now brings it forward looking for options, but it's quickly cut out by Bree. It spins in behind Norrington Davis in the left back area, but he recovers well, and Foderingham will play it out towards the edge of the box, and Egan plays it across the face of the penalty area and took a chance there with Adebayo bearing down on him. But now Berger and Norwood flips one over the top down the right, and Baldock is away into the penalty area. He may need some support, but he can't pick out either Ndiaye or Baldock. He may have been going for goal, I think, but the ball bobbles and bobbles and goes out of play on the far side for a throw-in.
Yeah, it's actually a fantastic run, and you know, a ball that we always see from Ollie Norwood, just flicking it round the corner on one touch, but as you say, you just can't get the ball down there. Baldock is bouncing, and then in the end I think is a bit of indecision. I don't know whether he's trying to cross it or trying to shoot, but does neither effectively. But that just shows how quickly the Blades can put Luton under pressure if they play the ball quickly.
And this is a Luton team which of course lost Kai Naismith to Bristol City during the transfer window, and he was arguably their most significant player last season, and he's irreplaceable according to Nathan Jones, and that's a situation which Nathan Jones has had to deal with in the past as Ndiaye looks to break forward now. Challenge though from Potts, who has filled in for Naismith very well so far. Yeah,
he's done well, hasn't he? Captain in the side and been that rock at the back, but also chipped in with the goals as well.
Yeah, Potts scored in Luton's draw at Burnley, second weekend of the season, as Berger tries to deliver a cross in from the right hand side, closed down by Freeman, and the ball spins behind for a corner to Sheffield United with 29 minutes played here on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL, and Luton Town leading by a goal to nil thanks to an early header from Carlton Morris. And McAtee will try to deliver an in-swinging corner with the left foot from this near side, low towards the near post, scuffed effort, but it's cleared away by Jordan Clark. Two bounces on the roof of the Kenilworth Road end away to our right, and out for another corner kick.
Yeah, and it's definitely an introduction to life in the Championship, isn't it there, McAtee, in terms of there's absolutely no room hardly round that.
You are surrounded by fans
area
in
to
that
take
corner
the
of the
run
ground.
up. Yeah, you know, in terms of the corners or the long throws, it's so difficult in this ground.
McAtee tries again, and once again it's cleared away by Clark at the near post, this time with the head, and it's recovered by Baldock. Luton Town have stayed in on the edge of the penalty area, so there is space and time for Lowe down the left hand side. High diagonal ball from him. Basham tries to flick the ball on, and now Berger has space down the right, back towards Basham again. First time cross towards the far post. Morris rising though to head the ball away. Basham nods it in field, and Norwood has almost given the ball away to Adebayo, but it's recovered by Lowe, who was the last man for Sheffield United on the halfway line, and in the end he goes all the way back towards Foderingham.
Yeah, but Adebayo bearing down here the way he does, it must be a scary sight for any defender, because as I say, the aggression in which he presses the ball, and how many times have you seen him nick it off a back line and drive forward and score. So they've got to be careful there, Blades.
Bell, he was caught by a flailing arm there from Baldock as he lost out to the right back for Sheffield United. I don't think there was any real intent there. Baldock, of course, on a yellow card, and play continues. Now Egan, and in fairness to Bell, he didn't make too much of it either. Now Norrington Davis. Morris again with another good challenge. He really is defending from the front for Luton Town. And Lockyer will find Potts again. And Sheffield United, out of possession, are getting very deep now as they look to cope with the bombardment of long balls forward. There's another one delivered by Burke on the far side, looking for Bree, who was forward. But now Norwood will play it back in field towards Norrington Davis. Left-footed ball from him, looking for McBurney. McBurney there with a... Well, that was a wrestling slam on Lockyer, but play continues and Sheffield United maintain possession. Well, McBurney didn't jump for the header. Lockyer came over the top of him. He won it. Then McBurney picked up Lockyer and threw him to the turf. Yeah, and then given the foul there on Amari Bell, which I agree was a foul, but then you see the frustration because, you know, as fans, as players, all you want from the referee is consistency. And as you say, it was almost like a wrestling move there in the middle of the pitch, and then, you know, Amari Bell, it's just a tap on the ankles and he gives the foul, so it seems very inconsistent. Credit to David Webb, he is doing his best to allow the game to flow, but I think McBurney there was showing his frustration for what's been a difficult first half hour or so for him.
Yeah, I think by and large David Webb's got it right. As you say, he's tried to let the game run as much as possible, but I think, yeah, in that instance it wasn't the best.
McAtee with the free kick into the penalty area. Egan gets a touch on it, but it's hoofed away by Adebayo on this near side. We welcome listeners from TalkSport to Kenilworth Road. 32 minutes played. Luton Town leading Sheffield United by 1-0. The early goal scored by Carlton Morris, a free header following an excellent cross into the penalty area from Amari Bell. Adebayo has had a couple of good opportunities to increase Luton's lead, and Sheffield United, Courtney Sweetman-Kirk, as the leaders, have found it difficult to impose themselves on the game.
Yeah, they've found it very difficult. I think the early goal always sets you on the back foot. It was a fantastic ball from Amari Bell in terms of the pace on it, and then all Carlton Morris had to do was glide it. It's a fantastic finish, but in terms of Luton in general, they've defended so well from the front, and especially I think the transition in midfield in Campbell and Clark, they've done so well to nick balls off Sheffield United toes and then drive forward. And obviously you've got a lot of pace up there with Adebayo as well, and you can see that the Blaze back line are really struggling to deal with it.
Now Norrington Davis with a high ball towards this near side. George Baldock, one of two Sheffield United players booked so far. Infield towards Norwood. And Baldock again with a high cross in from the right hand side, looking for McBurney with the shot. Swept it first time on the half volley, and it's some way wide. Commentary continues on TalkSport 2. 34 minutes played. It is Luton Town 1, Sheffield United 0. And there was very little McBurney could do with that cross.
No, I think he did well to even get something on it at that point, and obviously to, on the edge of the box, to get a good connection that's going to trouble Horvath there. It was always, I think the odds were always against him.
34 minutes played. Luton Town leading here by 1-0, and Dye tries to bring it forward, but he's sent sprawling by a challenge from Dan Potts just inside the Luton half, and it will be a free kick, and it's taken quickly for Basham. Now Egan wide towards this near side once again, and stabbed forward by Egan, and a lovely turn from McAtee this time, and now he's in full flight, finding McBurney on the edge of the penalty area. He was forced wide though by Lockyer. Luton will clear, but it comes straight back. Here is Berger. Now Basham again, wide to this near side, the right again. Baldock takes over, low towards the edge of the penalty area, and Dye. Now Norwood sweeps across in towards the far post. It's allowed to bounce, and it's Lowe who tries a snap shot off balance and some way off target, off the roof of the stand, and it's a goal kick.
very difficult skill that in terms of initially is facing away from goal, the ball's bounced just before him, so to be able to keep that down, it's always difficult. But I like the little turn and drive there from McAtee and the build up. You can just see the little glimpses of why he's so highly touted, and especially for me what I like about him, he's very, very quick over the first 5 yards with the ball, and as you say, the turn, the drop of the shoulder and then drive, and then he's got the presence of mind and the ability to find McBurney as well with a good weight of pass.
Long clearance from Horvath once again, and it bounces all the way through to Adebayo on the edge of the penalty area. He claimed he was blocked off by Lowe, but no free kick given. Basham with a high ball forward again, and Dye beaten to it though by Lockyer on the far side, and it will be a throw-in for Luton Town, or for Sheffield United rather, once again.
That long ball is really causing Sheffield United problems, pushing them right back really deep. I'm wondering if Luton now sort of might change approach in terms of, because there's so much space in front of them, are they going to play it through midfield more or continue to push that Blades back line back?
Now Lowe finding Norrington Davis on the overlap down the left. High cross towards the far post, and it's cleared away in the end by Bell. Under pressure from Baldock, he was able to turn inside his 6-yard area and smash the ball clear for a throw-in to Sheffield United. Of course, there is no Billy Sharp on the bench for Sheffield United, their top scorer last season, out for some time with an ankle ligament injury suffered against Middlesbrough. And they'll miss him because he doesn't start every week, of course, now, but you look at his goals to game ratio and he just gives you something different.
Yeah, I mean, for one, the goals is the obvious thing to look at and think about, but in terms of his movement is unbelievable, and maybe as he is getting a little bit older as well, he's probably getting more clever, more intelligent with what he does and the movement that he makes, and it's not just about the movement for him to get on the ball, but the space and channels he opens up for other people is really a massive part of his game, and obviously the Blades, and they're going to miss him.
Luton go short from the goal kick this time, but Potts does bang it high and forward, looking for Adebayo. Egan does well to rise and nod the ball clear, but it's quickly recovered by Clark. Now Bell again in towards Freeman on the left corner of the penalty area. Adebayo back towards Freeman. Freeman lets fly, but the shot is too close to Foderingham.
Yeah, and it's nice little intricate play in the end by Luton. Obviously the initial ball going up is high, but what I like about it is Jordan Clark and Alan Campbell have been fantastic tonight in the second phase. So yes, they play the long ball, but they're expecting it to drop down. They're on the front foot, ready to get the first and seconds, and then when it does get down and the ball's on the floor, Adebayo and Freeman playing quick 1-2 balls, and then Freeman, he does well, gets the shot off. You can see what he's trying to do. He's trying to bend it round West Foderingham, but doesn't quite get the contact on it that he wants.
And Sheffield United lost a number of goals due to injury and also departures during the early part of the season. Morgan Gibbs-White, of course, who was a key loan signing last season, who's now moved on to Nottingham Forest for big money as well, so he'll be in the Premier League in the long term, he'll be hoping. And they have shared the goals around, as we were hearing before kick-off. The last 7 have all been scored by different goal scorers, and Illiman and Dye is somebody they'll be looking to, and of course Ollie McBurney, but he's not scored since December of 2020. He's had injuries, but 28 games without a goal last season. Yeah,
and you know, that's tough. It's tough for a forward, because all you're dying to do is score to get yourself off the marker, but you know, when you've gone not long without scoring, you snatch at things because you're so desperate to score. You feel like the weight of the world is on your shoulders at times.
Now Clark fires in the shot from long range for Luton. It's blocked. Berger tries to bring it clear. He was clattered into, but in the end Sheffield United do play it high to the halfway line. McBurney loses out to Burke in the air, then on his knees implores the referee to give him a free kick, and those heavily tattooed arms are thrust to the heavens, saying, look, what can I do?
I must admit, I do think from back there was 2 hands in the back of Ollie McBurney. There's not much he could have done.
Now Morris wide to the far side, the cross into the penalty area, and Foderingham missed it completely as he rose with Adebayo, but nobody got the touch. It's gone behind for a goal kick. Foderingham quickly apologises to his back 4, but it could have been so much worse.
Yet again, another ball from wide areas, troubling that Sheffield United back line, and Wes Foderingham, normally so reliable, will come and collect it and command his area. Got caught in no man's land there. It's just lucky for him that Adebayo, he just couldn't quite get his head to the ball.
Well, McBurney this time does well to win the ball back in a difficult situation, and then Burke came back at him and fouled him, and it's a free kick for Sheffield United on the far side. And in fairness to Ollie McBurney, he's going through a difficult time, but he's not hiding. He's always looking for either a physical challenge or the ball.
No, and that's what you want, and that's what Paul Heckingbottom will be seeing for him. I'm sure, day in, day out on the training ground, he's working hard and he's doing all that's asked of him on the pitch. He's just obviously just can't put the ball in the back of the net.
And a free kick on the far side, which McBurney will take. And he'll strike this right-footed high towards the penalty spot once again. And I think it was a Luton head which managed to guide the ball to a safer area, and Ethan Horvath scampers out towards the edge of the box and claims unchallenged. 41 minutes played here on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL, and it's Luton Town 1, Sheffield United 0. So the leaders are behind here at Kenilworth Road. As Adebayo brings the ball down on his chest, finds Morris. Morris was challenged by Lowe, and he's gone down clutching his Achilles, but no free kick given once again. But Luton have the ball back. Here is Breed down the right-hand side, beyond the challenge of McAtee, and McAtee then wins it back initially, throws himself to the ground as he's beaten to it by Breed. Luton still have the ball. Morris spins away from Norrington Davis inside the penalty area, tries to squeeze a right-footed cross in, but it's blocked, and Norwood and then Lowe will get the ball away, but all Lowe can do is just hoof the ball onto the television gantry on the far side.
It's brilliant work from Morris. When the ball comes into him, you see he's almost faking like he's going to take it with the outside of his foot, but he chops it inside, and then he's got the presence of mind again. Little Cruyff turn to bring the ball back, but he just can't get the ball into the box. And Norrington Davies, he does well there, in all fairness. He stands up, he doesn't dive in and manages to get the block in.
Now Clark plays a 1-2 with Bree from the throw-in on the far side. Freeman, good ball down the line on the right. Adebayo initially shoves Norrington Davis off the ball. Bree's cross into the penalty area is blocked. The ball spins in field again. Sheffield United clear, but it's all very hurried, and Freeman wins it back on the edge of the area, challenged by Norwood, but Bree will play a low cross in, volley towards goal by Adebayo, and he hit that in full flight but just too high, and what a goal that would have been.
Oh, it would have been spectacular if that went in. Again, it's great work in wide areas from Luton, and good quality balls in the box. Again, Adebayo running onto it, and he almost hits it too well. He gets too much on it. I think if he obviously has a bit less power behind it, he probably finds the target. But again, it's good movement from Luton, and especially Morris and Adebayo, the way that they link up, working on opposite movements. See there, Morris was in the box, occupying the centre halves, and Adebayo arriving late to get the volley, but just can't find the target.
90 seconds to play in the first half here. Luton leading by a goal to nil as it's flicked on by McBurney on the edge of the box as Ndiaye made a powerful run forward, but Luton clear, then give the ball away, but it's quickly won back by Bell. And here is Freeman now, and Burke breaking out of the back three, has support from Morris now down the right hand side. Morris has drawn Norrington Davis towards the ball, then checks back in field, but the cross in was blocked by Lowe, and it will be a throw into Luton on the far side as the ball ricochets off the windows of the greenhouses which have occupied that side of Kenilworth Road for some time now.
Yeah, and I think Morris again does very, very well, and what I like about it is because he's then dropped in, there's a little bit deeper. You see Alan Campbell getting in, making sure that he's adding another number to the box, and Amari Bell, as you'd expect as well, the wing back backing it up at the far post.
Nice turn from Campbell now, down the right, early cross into the penalty area. Foderingham came, then retreated, and it's cleared away eventually by Baldock on this near side, but only as far as Potts, infield towards Freeman. Freeman just checking back away from Berger. Potts now just in front of us, back towards Freeman again, infield to Adebayo. And now Potts, who sways infield beyond the challenge of Baldock, and now Adebayo inside the penalty area, but Basham does well to block the shot. There'll be a minimum of 2 minutes added time at the end of the first half here as Berger loses out to Potts again, and Bell quickly steps in ahead of Norwood, and launches it wide to the far side. Good ball though, and it's found Carlton Morris, who brings it down, has support from Bree on the overlap, but comes in field himself and then eventually checks wide to Burke on the far side. And Luton here playing some very effective football throughout this first half. They deserve to be ahead overall. Here is Campbell now, wide towards Bree, and it's flipped forward by Burke, looking for Campbell to encourage him to make that run down the right hand side, but Egan just happy to sweep the ball away, and it will be a throw into Sheffield United again, to Luton Town again rather. And Sheffield United really need half time here.
Yeah, they do. I think they'll be more than happy to get in at 1-0, because Luton have had quite a few chances. They could quite easily be 2 or 3 up, and yeah, they definitely, you know, something needs to change at half time. What I like about Luton is it's almost the polar opposites at times. They play the long ball, they make it a fight scene, but then when they get in the final third, they're so calm and composed. They're really happy to move it quickly on 1 and 2 touch and get shots off, and it's very difficult to play against.
For Sheffield United, 62% possession but no shots on target.
Yeah, and that's the issue. You can have all the possession in the world, but the one stat that matters to our left over on the scoreboard is the Hatters are 1-0 up. So, you know, they've got to, for me, move the ball quicker to get in dangerous areas, because it's, you know, they're having the possession. It's almost a little bit paint by numbers. They're going through the motions, but it's too slow because they're giving Luton too much time to get back into the shape in the Luton defensive half, and then it's so hard to play against, especially on a tight pitch, because every time you look up, you've just got an orange shirt in front of you.
And it's a throw-in by the corner flag on the far side for Sheffield United, thrown long downfield. That's half-time. Warm applause from the home supporters as Nathan Jones, the Luton manager, sprints across the pitch towards the tunnel to get straight into the dressing room at half-time. His team leading here by a 0-0. The early goal scored by Carlton Morris. A fine cross in from Amari Bell, and Morris unmarked to guide in the header. Elijah Adebayo has also had a couple of opportunities to double the lead, but Sheffield United, no shots on target so far, and they have had very few opportunities to put pressure on the Luton Town back three. At half-time, the blades have been blunted. It's Luton Town 1, Sheffield United 0. Thank you, Dan. Yeah, it's Tommy Doyle who is coming on for the second half. Another youngster on loan from Manchester City, another England under-21 international. Had a good spell at Cardiff last season and is continuing his development at Bramwell Lane. And if he's coming on, Courtney, it suggests that Paul Heckingbottom's not too happy about the way his midfield was functioning.
No, and rightly so, and I think that was one of the main areas where Luton won the battle today. In terms of Alan Campbell and Jordan Clark, they're absolutely fantastic in terms of either nicking the ball in transition or in terms of when the second ball fell from the long ball. They were always the first one there. They've definitely won that battle in the first half, so I'm not surprised that Paul Heckingbottom has changed the midfield up.
And it's another City loanee who has gone off, James McAtee. Of course, he was on a yellow card, and we did mention in the first half at times the game was just passing him by. Yeah,
he struggled to get into the game, and as I say, it was similar sort of against Sunderland, although within that first half he sort of built into the game a lot more quickly, and he's not had the opportunity to do that today, partly by the way that Luton have played. But yeah, it's a steep learning curve, and he'll get better and better as it goes on, but he'll be disappointed tonight.
Luton in the orange shirts with black shorts and orange socks, playing towards the Kenilworth Road end, away to our right-hand side, as the goal scorer, Carlton Morris, is buffeted in the back by Rhys Norrington-Davies, and that will be a free kick for Luton. A reminder of their team: Horvath in goal, Burke, Lockyer and Potts at the back, Bree, Campbell, Clark and Bell in midfield, Adebayo, Freeman and Morris in attack, with Freeman playing slightly deeper as a false 9. For Sheffield United now, Foderingham in goal, Basham, Egan, Norrington-Davies the back three, Baldock, Berger, Norwood, Doyle and Lowe in midfield, and Dye and McBurney in attack. And Bree is over this free kick for Luton, along with Freeman, the former Sheffield United player. And it's Freeman who plays it short, and then it's slid low towards the edge of the box looking for Bree, who was making an overlapping run, but it was well seen and cut out by Ndai. Ndai tries to play it down this near side. Doyle's first involvement is a lunge to try and keep the ball in play, almost ends up in the crowd, and it's a throw into Sheffield United.
Surprised with that from Luton. Obviously, I know that you like to try different things, but in terms of the aerial presence they've had today and seem to be beating Sheffield United in the air at every opportunity, you would have thought that, given an opportunity to get a good quality ball in the box, they would have done so.
Now Norwood plays it back in field towards Basham, who was under pressure from Freeman inside the Sheffield United penalty area, but they clear. Now McBurney links up with Ndai, who was running at some pace on this near side, and he was taken out by Bree, and then Ndai and Bree have a coming together. In fact, it was Burke who wasn't too happy with the nature of Ndai's challenge. The ball spins towards the press area. Then Ollie McBurney has words with the Luton fans on this near side. They weren't too happy about that. And the upshot is a free kick for Sheffield United on this near side.
Yeah, and in that sense, I think even from minute one, the tensions of this game, have been extremely high. There's been, as you'd expect, full-blooded tackles going in. And the referee, for all intents and purposes, I think he's done very well in trying to let the game flow, but he couldn't quite let that one go there.
Tommy Doyle is over the free kick. Swung high towards the far post, headed away initially by Adebayo and then Clark. Norwood with a cushioned header down to the right and Baldock, and further wide to Berger. Morris has tracked his run. Back towards Norwood again. A high, languid ball towards the far post. Horvath allows the ball to run, and it has gone behind despite the attentions of Norrington Davis. And with 48 minutes played, it will be a goal kick to Luton, leading by a goal to nil. The Sheffield United fans had a long-range view of a pretty grim game from their point of view in the first half in terms of an attacking sense down the other end. A couple of Senegalese flags have been unfurled in honour of their striker, Iliman Ndai, who has done really well since arriving from Boreham Wood in non-league football. Scored some key goals in their playoff chase at the end of last season, and 3 already during the current campaign. Freeman showing lovely feet to evade Doyle in the midfield area, but his ball wide towards Bree is cut out by Lowe, and now Ndai quickly plays it wide to the far side, and Baldock again down the Sheffield United right. He's got Basham on the overlap. Berger will now find Basham. Basham cuts in field towards the edge of the penalty area, finds Ndai. Great turn from him deep into the penalty area, plays it square looking for Lowe, and it was cut out by Lockyer. Probably a goal-saving challenge. It's a corner in the end, but Sheffield United showing their quality there.
Yeah, and Ndai does so well there. He's got such a low centre of gravity, moves the ball so quickly, but credit to Amari Belly, he sticks with him, he doesn't dive in, he doesn't do anything rash, and then it manages that Lockyer can get the ball away. But you can just see signs now of Blades just moving the ball a little bit more quickly and getting in more dangerous areas. 5
minutes played in the second half. The Sheffield United women's striker Courtney Sweetman-Kirk with us here at Kenilworth Road. The corner kick from Norwood finds Egan inside the penalty area. It was loose for a second as his header was blocked before it's launched away on this near side by Bell, and it will be a throw-in to Sheffield United, but they've started the second half with some purpose.
Yeah, started it a lot better compared to the first half, and I'm just looking at McBurney there, sort of head to the sky at one point, because the ball drops, and sort of when you're in form you almost create your own look. That ball drops to him 5 yards out and he slots it in, but just unfortunate for him that it spins away and he can't get to it.
Lowe now finding Norwood, slid wide to this near side, but Campbell again with a good challenge, but it breaks for Ndai. But there were so many bodies in orange shirts ahead of him when he tried to trick his way through, and that's been the problem for Sheffield United. They have not found that perceptive ball so far.
No, and as you say, Ndai's got fantastic feet. His technical ability is astounding at times, but you've got to give Luton credit the way that they get back into shape so quickly. They sniff the danger out and make sure that when the Blades get around the box, all they can see is an orange shirt, and so far it's working extremely well for Luton.
In towards Berger from the throw-in from Baldock, and now Berger again lays it into the path of McBurney. Doyle is square of him. The Manchester City player with some great heritage. Now Norrington Davis with the ball to the far post, nodded down by McBurney, and Horvath comes through the crowd to punch the ball away under pressure from Berger. Then McBurney goes down inside the penalty area. It's driven back into the 6-yard box, and Dye with a shot on the turn, and eventually it bobbles through a forest of legs and behind for a corner.
Yeah, I think Reece Burke in the end he gets the block in. He puts his body on the line to make sure that the swivel and turn from Ndiaye doesn't go goalward. But you can see now, in terms of this first 6 or 7 minutes we're in, there's probably Sheffield United had more chances already than they have in the whole of the first half.
Corner kick for them on the far side, which Ollie Norwood will take. And it will be an outswinger this time. A bus queue of Sheffield United players waiting on the edge of the penalty area. They split, but it's headed away by Lockyer. Quickly returned, flicked on by Egan. McBurney's volley! And it's a goal which Ollie McBurney's been waiting for a long, long time. But he celebrates in front of the Sheffield United supporters. An instinctive volley inside the penalty area. And for the first time in nearly 2 years, Ollie McBurney is on the score sheet for Sheffield United. Joy and relief for him. It is Luton 1, Sheffield United 1.
And that is a very calm finish, a very calm and composed finish for a man that hasn't scored in 2 years. And you saw his reaction. It's anguish, it's anger, it's relief. The way that he goes over to the fans, you can just tell how much this means to him. He's just got a yellow card from David Webb for his troubles because of the celebration, because of the reaction. But providing that he doesn't pick another one up, he won't be bothered. And you can tell how much that meant to him. And it's a fantastic finish on the volley. How many times you see a player snatch at this, hit it over the bar, but gets his knee over, keeps his composure, goes across Horvath, and it's a brilliant finish.
Well, there is a delay before the game has restarted. There was a disturbance behind the goal away to our left. A number of Sheffield United supporters came onto the field of play to celebrate that goal. They've now been carted off. There is a line of stewards who have sprinted from the centre circle towards that end of the ground to try and deal with it. A hoarding has also come down in the midst of those celebrations, and at the moment the safety staff are trying to repair that so the match can resume. And while that's happening at one end, at the other end, Wes Foderingham, the goalkeeper for Sheffield United, has gone down injured and he's receiving treatment.
Yeah, don't know what happened to Foderingham there. I don't think there's been an awful lot of play in the Blades box, so I don't know whether that's he's stood up and he's gone down again. He does seem to really be struggling. I don't know whether something's obviously happened off the ball that we've not seen.
Well, Jordan Amissar, the young German who is the backup goalkeeper, he is currently warming up on the far side, and Foderingham is now heading towards the back of his goal, and he may be gathering his possessions here to come off.
Yeah, he is coming off. Yeah, he really doesn't look in a good way. And as I say, I can't think off the top of my head right now what that would have came from, because there's been hardly any plays. Although he's walking now across his 6-yard box, the medical staff have left him, so maybe he's going to try and continue. But with Blades just getting themselves in front, you don't want to take that risk if your keeper isn't 100%. The physio's now coming back over to him. It's all very peculiar.
Well, Heckingbottom has had words with his medical team. The goalkeeper is still warming up on the far side, Amissar. Foderingham is continuing, and we are back to 1-1. We had a delay there of around 3 minutes following that goal. The hoardings are now lying flat on the turf behind the goal away to our left-hand side. They came down during those celebrations when McBurney sprinted behind the goal to celebrate with the Sheffield United supporters, but the player with the shaggy beard and his socks rolled down around his ankles will be feeling much better about life now, having ended that long wait for a goal.
Yeah, you could see initially straight away the reaction, the relief within him. I think as you say, when you go for a while without scoring, it's not happiness, it really is a relief, and hopefully Kimpembe can really push forward now.
And Luton Town have simply not got started since the half-time whistle, and what Nathan Jones may have feared, the failure to get the second goal when they were on top in spells in the first half, has been realised here. 56 minutes played, Luton Town 1, Sheffield United 1. 9 of Sheffield United's 10 points have come at home so far, as Clark comes forward now with a high cross into the penalty area, looking for Adebayo, headed away by Basham, and the home crowd are suddenly back in the game.
Yeah, and it's a good cross in there, and Adebayo, you can see him charging across, trying to get his head to that, but Basham does really well in making sure it goes out for the throw-in rather than the corner.
And it's thrown short to Burke. Back out to Bree again, down the right-hand side. High cross into the penalty area. Adebayo was challenging for it, and I don't think he got a significant touch on that. Now Morris with a ball back into the area, headed away by Egan. I have to confess, much of that took place behind the pillar, which obscures the view of the goal.
All right, Nigel, I was forward, and I saw Potts as well. He was I don't know whether he thought Adebayo was going to get it, or maybe Adebayo got a slight touch on it, but Potts as well, then it evaded him. But I think Luton have got the right idea here in terms of, for me personally, I know, thinking as a forward, if I've seen a keeper go down and struggling, you want to try and get shots off, get around him, get in the box as quickly as possible to test, how fit he actually is.
And Sheffield United now look to have much more composure as Doyle plays a long ball forward and Dye in pursuit. Horvath comes out of his penalty area and will just allow the ball to bobble behind. December the 6th, 2020, behind closed doors, was the last time that Ollie McBurney scored for Sheffield United in the Premier League against Leicester City. An equaliser before Jamie Vardy scored a winner in added time, as Sheffield United's 2-year stay in the Premier League is coming to an end. And of course he's had injuries since, and he found himself on the sidelines for large parts of last season, and not a regular starter for much of this season so far. But we always say that goals change games, and if you are a striker, goals change careers as well.
Yeah, and it changes your mindset and your confidence then going into the next one too.
Now Berger, strong play from him to ride the challenge of Bell, but then he comes back in field to buy himself some time. Egan now has it for Sheffield United. Norwood, another searching ball from him, chugging forward down the right-hand side as Baldock to try and win the ball, and he barges into Burke on the far side, and in the end a free kick's being given.
Look, it might be a foul, but I don't mind that from Baldock. In terms of the difference in the first and the second half, for me it was laboured. Going forward, Baldock, he might have chased that, but not with that amount of pace and aggression, whereas now, look, the defender knows they're in a battle. They know that they've got a Blades player, whether it be Baldock or anyone else, breathing down the back of their necks, and that's so much better from Sheffield United.
But here is Freeman now for Luton against his former club. Bree is the overlap down the right. Freeman though checks back to the left, and now it's wide towards Bree again. A high ball to the far post, and the volley from Bell on the stretch goes right through the 6-yard area and behind for a goal kick.
Yeah, again, wide areas still causing Blaze the problems despite a better performance going forward. It's another good cross in from the right. Again, just evades Adebayo, just goes over his head, but Amari Bell doing what all good fullbacks and wingbacks should be doing, just making sure that it's not going out the back of that box. You get a decent connection on it, but just fizzles across the goal.
Now Doyle quickly forward to Ndiaye, and he was looking for low on the overlap, but in the end the ball goes straight out of play, and it will be a throw into Luton Town. Of course, Sheffield United's men playing here tonight, and Sheffield United's women are at the Lane tomorrow. Yeah,
we've got Durham's second game of the season, so hoping we can get as many people in the Lane as possible.
A defeat for Sheffield United last week in the opening game of the Women's Championship season at Blackburn. Of course, the WSL is underway. Second weekend in September, and there'll be coverage across the TalkSport network. And so many tickets have been sold for the opening weeks of the WSL season, and Has that been the story in the Championship as well?
Yeah, it has, from as far as I know. I know from our perspective we've sort of gone up 200%, I believe, on our season tickets, and as you say, within the WSL and around the Championship, that's a story. So that sort of, that push from the Euros is very, very positive, and hopefully that's not just the first few weeks of the season. Hopefully it continues all the way through the season, and we've also got then a Women's World Cup next year to look forward to.
Yeah. That's in Australia and New Zealand this time next year. I think the final will have just been played this time next year. Norrington Davis with a searching ball into the penalty area for Sheffield United, and a diving Tom Lockyer heads the ball away at the near post, but the Blades asking all of the questions now with 61 minutes played. 1-1 on TalkSport 2 at Kenilworth Road.
I see McBurney as well there in the middle applauding the cross because he knows it's the right idea from Norrington Davies. Just needs a bit more elevation on it.
Freeman brings it clear now for Luton. Wide towards Morris, a high hopeful ball from him, but Amari Bell may make something of it, but Fotheringham, one bounce, gathers on the edge of the penalty area, and he's not moving too freely, is he, Wes Fotheringham?
No, I would say gingerly would definitely be the word I was using. He definitely doesn't look 100%, but we'll see as we continue how he goes and whether he can stay on the pitch.
Well, the goalkeeper, Jordan Amasar, has now sat down after a fairly prolonged warm-up following the earlier injury to Fotheringham, which only became apparent after Sheffield United had scored their equalising goal. Now Morris was having his shirt pulled there on this near side by Norrington Davis, but nothing given as Sheffield United bring it forward again. Now Doyle, infield again to Norwood. Egan going square to Basham, who checks in field, and Egan now wide to this near side, and Norrington Davis again, and Sheffield United have really discovered some rhythm, but the flick from their goal scorer McBurney doesn't find the intended target. Here is the man who found the back of the net for Luton, Morris. Back towards Bree now. The two number 9s on target so far in this game on TalkSport 2. Now Norrington Davis for Sheffield United. Egan will try and bring it forward from the heart of their back three. Doyle on the half turn, takes it down well, midway inside the Luton Town half. But there has been a tendency from Sheffield United just to slow the game down at key times, but Basham will try and inject some energy now with the help of Baldock down the right. Basham on the overlap with the cross into the penalty area. Horvath was nowhere, and he was relying on Burke there to nod the ball over the crossbar for a corner.
Yeah, and as you say, there was times where you think Blades can speed it up just a little bit, and then you see it down that right hand side, move the ball quickly, good ball in the box, and McBurney, he's ready, he's planted on his forehead, he wants that second goal, but Luton do well to get that away, because as you say, Horvath, he didn't want to come for that.
Corner kick on this near side, swung to the near post, headed away by Adebayo. Now Baldock infield again towards Lowe, and Luton trying to funnel out of their penalty area, and Luke Freeman was waving them forward to try and compress the space, but in the end the long ball forward from Sheffield United bounces all the way through towards Horvath. Don't forget game day coming up across the TalkSport network tomorrow on TalkSport at 12:30. Southampton against Manchester United with Rashmin Chowdhury, Sam Matterface and Dean Ashton. Sunderland against Norwich. Where will Alex Neil be, the Sunderland manager, who's been talking to Stoke today? That's live on TalkSport 2 with Mark Wilson and Chris Awellamo. Dan will be in the chair from the Brentford Community Stadium before Brentford against Everton at 3 o'clock with Ian Danta and Alvin Martin. Game day live with Adrian Durham with all the goals as they go in, and of course a full classified check at 5 o'clock where it's always been and where it should be. Now Freeman back again towards Bree. Freeman takes over on this near side. Clark. And Luton now finding it hard to engineer the spaces they were creating with ease at times in the first half, but Clark will try and do it now. Campbell clips it into the area. I think he was trying to find Bree, but Bree had held his run and there was too much air on the pass, and it's claimed by Fotheringham, who quickly bowls it out to the halfway line and picks out Ndai. Infield now to McBurney, further square to his right, and Berger, but Berger maybe just needed a bit more pace on the ball there as Adebayo makes the challenge. Now Norwood, wide to the far side again, and Norrington Davis, but there's been so much more poise about Sheffield United's play in the second half, helped of course by the equalising goal from Ollie McBurney. 66 minutes played, 1-1. Doyle tries to find McBurney inside the penalty area for Sheffield United on the right, but it's cleared away by Potts, closed down by McBurney, and Luton Town will have the throw-in on the far side. Of course, Luton did make signings during the transfer window, but mainly on threes. The money remains tight here, and of course they lost Kai Naismith to Bristol City. Sheffield United have mainly done most of their work in the loan market. 4 of their signings are on a temporary basis from the Premier League. Ahmed Hodzic, the only permanent deal so far, as Paul Heckingbottom just looks to tweak his squad, which of course performed so well in the second half of last season, and Nathan Jones maybe doesn't have the funds to make the sort of changes he'd like to, as Norrington Davis slides in on this near side with Burke. Both players were on the ground there, committed to the lunge, and in the end a corner kick's been given to Sheffield United. Norrington Davis has stayed down, and the Luton fans behind that goal, who had a better view of that than we did, are convinced it was a goal kick.
Yeah, both the fans, the Hatters fans and the players are really unhappy, and as you say, it was just in that left-hand channel to our left of the press box. Both players went to ground, and to me, I must admit, it looked like it sort of ricocheted off that white Blade shirt, but Blade's corner is what the referee has given.
It'll be taken by Norwood on this near side. Another in-swinger, but once again it's headed away by Burke up towards the halfway line, and all the way back from Doyle towards Fodringham once again, who kept 18 clean sheets in 34 games last season, but not here tonight. The ball now strikes Doyle on the shoulder as it was harmlessly drifting through to his goalkeeper, and Luton as a result had possession back. Here is Clark finding Freeman. Clark now switches it wide to the left, and Bell further wide for Morris. Morris outmuscles Basham and now can deliver a cross into the penalty area towards the near post, where Egan will head the ball clear, and then a long up and under from Berger down the centre. McBurney goes down, claiming he was fouled by Lockyer, and he thumps at the ground in frustration, and no free kick has been given.
Yeah, he's not happy, is he? But I think that's been a great battle to watch. As I say, David Webb has tried to let as much go as he can.
Bree hangs up a high ball to the far post, nodded down by Morris. Campbell with the shot at pace, and now Morris with the rebound, and it's deflected behind for a corner, and Luton suddenly with an opportunity to retake the lead with 20 minutes to play.
I can't quite see past this post to our right,
idea.
But that seemed like heroic defending. It's Campbell is following up on the shot. It looks like it's heading for goal, but there's definitely a white shirt that gets themselves in the way there, puts themselves in harm's way to keep the tie at 1-1.
Corner kick which Luton Town have underneath the clock on the far side, and Sheffield United have pulled everybody back here to defend it. It's played short, then high into the 6-yard area, and in the end a free kick's been given for pushing, and there is some relief for Sheffield United.
Yeah, and that was...
I know you couldn't see that.
I think...
But tell us what happened.
If it had gone in, I think it would have been completely against the run of play, but that's what now Sheffield United have got to be wary of. Obviously they want to try and get the second goal. They're flooding bodies forward, but we know how effective the Hatters are on the break, so they've just got to make sure that they're keeping it tight at the back.
Well, these two sides were level on points at the end of last season, and nothing between them here with 20 minutes to play on TalkSport 2, and Dyer does really well to win the ball on the far side under severe pressure, but then eventually does give the ball away, but it's quickly won back by Sheffield United. McBurney with the back heel to find Berger down the right, and Dyer in support, and Dyer will win the ball now, but Bell quickly gets it back, but now Baldock strides into the penalty area, plays it back, and it's Norwood who fires in the shot, and it's over the top. He tried to shape it right-footed over a whole host of bodies in front of him, but it was just too high.
Yeah, and we know he's got that ability, whether, from that sort of range, whether it be an open play like that or dead ball situations. We know the way that he shapes up. You're just expecting it to hit the top corner there. But again, just let's talk about Ndiaye and that right-hand side. He keeps it alive initially, then making sure he gets himself in the way. And he's just being, for want of a better phrase, an absolute nuisance to that Luton back line. And that all comes from him working so hard.
Now Lowe on this near side, heads it forward. It's gathered by Campbell, but Sheffield United once again working much harder without the ball in the second half, earning the right to play, and as a result, their goal has been merited. 72 minutes played here at Kenilworth Road on TalkSport 2, the home of the EFL. But the leaders are about to drop more points away from home. There will be 3 games without a win on the road, 3 wins out of 3 at Bramall Lane so far. 1-1 the score, but as this game becomes a bit more stretched, both teams will believe there's a winning goal in it for them.
Yeah, and I agree with you, Nigel. I'm not sure which way it'll go at the moment, but you do feel like there's still another twist in the tail with this game.
And Ndiaye again looking to turn away from Lockyer, but this time he has been penalised. He and Lockyer had hold of each other, but it was Lockyer who went down and a free kick's being given.
Yeah, it was quite clever there by Lockyer, because as you say, they both had hold of each other, making it difficult, but Lockyer using all his experience there. And that's a needless yellow card there for Ndiaye.
Yeah, Ndiaye did not retreat at the free kick, and Lockyer again knew what he was doing, just played the ball against Ndiaye, and it was always going to be a yellow card.
Yeah, exactly. Just using his experience, and referees there, as long as you're moving backwards they don't mind, but Ndiaye was just stood still. As long as you're slowly moving backwards you'll normally get away with those.
Lockyer now with the free kick, looking for Morris. Good use of the chest from him to guide the ball inside for Campbell. Campbell riding the challenge of Lowe, finding Morris again. Now Campbell further wide to Burke, but he's closed down by Doyle, and it will be a throw-in for Luton, and James Bree will try and make use of the inches off the pitch on this near side to deliver a throw towards the edge of the penalty area. It's helped on by Clark, headed away by Berger. Clark again does well to win it back. Burke wide to this near side. Bree's first time ball in for Morris, who tries to turn away inside the penalty area. Back towards Bree, high to the far post. Adebayo with a looping header, but it's wide. Luton are appealing for the corner kick, but it did seem from here that Adebayo nodded the ball too high.
Yeah, and it's really good play from Morris. He stays strong, manages to lay the ball back off to Bree, and Adebayo climbing. He's under pressure. He just can't quite find the target.
And now Doyle does well to win a free kick for Sheffield United midway inside their half. And Ndiaye quickly receives it and finds Berger. Berger's got everything to his right-hand side, including Basham. Berger then creates the width, but Basham comes in field to find Baldock inside the penalty area. Now Berger can break towards the 6-yard box and is crossed towards the near post, squirts behind, and a goal kick's been given.
Yeah, and again adamant that it should be a corner. Berger gesturing to the referee, but so much better from Blades in terms of that quick play, 1 and 2 touch, third man run from Berger, getting himself in a really good position, and we didn't really see any of that in the first half.
Coming up this week on TalkSport and TalkSport 2, around the grounds on TalkSport on Tuesday. Big night in the Premier League and the EFL. And on TalkSport 2, Papa John's Trophy commentary, Crawley against Portsmouth on Tuesday, Charlton against Gillingham on Wednesday. And this time next week we'll be at the Hawthorns for West Brom against Burnley in the Championship. Wes Foderingham is down on his haunches once again. The Sheffield United goalkeeper is outside his penalty area looking for treatment as Luton make a change, and their goal scorer Carlton Morris has gone off to be replaced by the veteran Cameron Jerome.
Yeah, and I think first of all Carlton Morris has performed very well today. Obviously he's got the goal and it's a very good header, but equally his all-around play, his aggression to press from the front, the way that he holds the ball up so effectively and brings others into play, I think is performed very well. And with Foderingham here, it's a very strange one. Can't quite work out exactly what's wrong with him, but he definitely seems in a lot of pain.
Yeah. and he's been clearly carrying the injury for some time. Norrington Davis is also hobbling around as well, as both sets of players head towards the far side to take on some fluids, all apart from Rhys Burke, who is sucking on a bottle of energy juice on his own on this near side, so clearly he's aware of what the plan is. Of course, no water breaks this evening, not that warm, but the injury to Foderingham has taken its toll, and he is coming off now.
Yeah, and
straight to the tunnel.
Paul Heckingbottom will hope that that isn't anything too serious. I think Wes Foderingham was such a focal point last season for the Blades. He was always very reliable. From memory, he saved quite a few penalties, and just in general, he's a fantastic shot stopper and made some game-winning saves at times.
But it's a big moment for Jordan Amasar, 21-year-old German goalkeeper who has come through the academy. Nice moment as Ethan Horvath, the Luton goalkeeper, comes across to this near side to check on Wes Foderingham. The goalkeepers union there in full evidence, but having lost John Flett to a broken leg last week, if Fodringham's out for a significant length of time, that's two big players.
Yeah, two hugely experienced players that Paul Heckingbottom would have wanted to call on throughout the season. So, you know, from a Sheffield United perspective, they'll definitely be hoping that whatever is wrong with Wes Foderingham at the minute, that he can get over it as quickly as possible.
Sheffield United are at home to Reading on Tuesday, another team who've made a decent start to the season, surprisingly perhaps. Luton are away to Cardiff, and they've had some travelling in the opening weeks of the season. Swansea last Saturday, Cardiff coming up. They've also been to Bristol as well in the early weeks, so they'll be very familiar with the M4. As McBurney chases a long ball forward for Sheffield United, but he's closed down on this near side. But you may have heard the clump there as he was challenged by Burke just in front of us, and Luton have a throw-in. Burke steals about 15 yards and throws it down the line looking for Jerome. Now Adebayo helps it further in field, but it's cleared away by Basham on this near side, and it will be a throw-in to Luton Town with 11 and a half minutes to play here. Burke's ball down the line is deflected off McBurney, and it's controlled by Freeman out on the right wing, but he's done well to dig out the cross. First test here for Amasar, and he claims it well, and he's a big lad.
Yeah, he does well, and gets a little pat on the head as well from George Baldock, and that'll give him no end of confidence, just making sure that coming into this game the first thing he does is positive.
A short sleeve goalkeeping jersey for Jordan Amasar. In fact, he's absolutely huge. Yeah. I mean, he's as tall as he's broad.
Yeah, he's the sort of person I don't think you want to mess with in the box. I think if he's punching the ball and you take one to the head, you'll know about it.
Now Burke plays it wide to the far side, and Baldock, crossing from him, is blocked by a leaping Bell. Half-hearted appeals for handball, but it was outside the area anyway, and Baldock will allow the ball to spin out for a throw-in. Finding Berger tries to cross the ball low into the near post, but he was off balance, and it bobbles into the arms of Horvath, who quickly bowls it out to this near side, and Burke into the path of Jerome, and Jerome is challenged by Norrington Davis, and it will be a throw-in for Luton on this near side. Cameron Jerome, now 36 years of age, Luton his 9th club, but he is still finding a role in the Championship and often making an impact when he comes onto the field of play. Yeah. Now Bree.
I think Jerome's role is obviously different at the moment in time, but you know, he's a striker that knows where the goal is.
Burke looking for Adebayo, but the cross is headed away, and Sheffield United have defended the high balls much more effectively in the second half. 10 minutes to play, 1-1. Clark with a long ball forward into the penalty area, and it's claimed by Amasar.
And Luton will be desperate to try and test Amasar. Yes, he's come and collected that cross well again. That long ball is come and commanded his area, but Nathan Jones will be very upset if in this last 10 or so minutes Luton don't manage to test him.
Now Norrington Davis wide towards Lowe. Doyle, opportunity to shoot right-footed, he does, and it was swerving all over the place there, but in the end It was claimed well by Horvath, and he quickly clears downfield. Jerome in pursuit. Egan, though, was under the high ball. Heads it wide to the far side, where Adebayo gets there first for Luton. Now Freeman pings a ball onto Adebayo's chest. He tries to run a couple of challenges, and the ball is broken back towards Freeman. Freeman twisting and turning, and then scoops it back into the area for Adebayo, but Adebayo almost finds Jerome, and it's slid back towards the goalkeeper Egan, and Amassar does well to clear with his feet from very close to the goal line as Luton try and come forward again. You'll hear the crowd urging their team on. Burke over the halfway line. Slid down the line, right-hand side for Jerome. Jerome tries to break in field, and in the end he invites the challenge from Lowe, and it's behind for a corner.
Yeah, and Jerome does ever so well there. Uses his body, gets his body between him and the defender, lets the ball roll across him, and then wins the corner.
And Norrington Davis is down once again inside the area. We saw him hobbling around when Foderingham was receiving treatment earlier, and now the medical team will come on to look at the Welsh international once again.
Yeah, and as you say, Nigel, he hasn't looked right for a long period of time. And I think I can just see Ahmed Hodzic over the other side, and I believe that's Daniel Jefferson as well. So going to push now the Blades for these last 8 or so, and whatever's added on to try and get that winner.
Ahmed Hodzic has made a very good impression since arriving from Malmo. Scored in the win against Sunderland. And Norrington Davis is hobbling off behind the goal on the far side, and I think he is coming off, and the change is being made. Ahmed Hodzic will come on to replace him. Wasn't fit enough to start tonight, but will play for the final 7 minutes or so. And Daniel Jefferson, it looks like, will be the other player to come on. And we wait to get news of who is coming off. I think in fact it's Ryan Brewster who is coming on to replace Iliman Ndiaye.
And I think that's just a case of he's absolutely run his socks off tonight. He's worked so hard and he's run himself into the ground. So Ryan Brewster for this last few minutes now will give the Blades a bit of energy.
Well, his last goal came against Luton in January. One of only 3 he scored last season. Like McBurney, he was a big money signing who has found it very difficult to score goals, as the cross for Luton is high into the penalty area, evades everybody and goes behind for a goal kick.
And now there's 3 Blades players down. McBurney he was on his front, is now on his back. He's struggling, but say the Luton fans you can probably hear them, aren't very happy, think they're time wasting, but it was just a bit of a melee in the box there, and all landed on each other.
Well, I think they would take a point. They would have taken a point at half time, certainly, but maybe now they'll believe they've, without really creating a clear-cut chance, they've had enough pressure to get the winning goal here.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's nothing overly clear-cut, but the amount of pressure they've had, and they've looked more dangerous in that final third. But Ahmed Hodzic as well as him being a defender, he will now for these last few minutes as well provide a threat going forward. So actually with Brewster as well, it's 2 attacking substitutions from Paul Heckingbottom.
Amassar with a clearance, the backup goalkeeper for Sheffield United, but it's straight out of play, and there will be more changes now, and this one is for Luton.
Will be closed at the end of the game.
And it's Luke Freeman who is coming off. Warm applause from the Luton fans, muted applause from the Sheffield United supporters, it must be said. And Luke Berry comes on. First league appearance since March for him. He's one of the players who came through the lower leagues with Luton, but finds himself often out of the matchday squad these days, but has a role to play here in the closing moments. Adebayo finding Bree, scooped up in the air and onto the head of Ahmed Hodzic, who heads clear, but it will be a throw into Luton on this near side, and we are into the final 5 minutes here. 1-1 on TalkSport 2. Clark helps it forward towards the edge of the area. Jerome quickly challenged though by Basham, and it'll be cleared away up to the halfway line. And then Berger flicks the ball on, and Brewster goes down under pressure, and he's won the free kick. Jordan Clark is furious with the award, but it's a free kick here for Sheffield United with 4 minutes to play.
Yeah, and it's clever there from Brewster. He does well. He gets his body in the way he draws the foul, and we spoke about Norwood and the quality in his delivery, and they've got height now in terms of Berger, Ahmedhodzic and also McBurney. It's a good opportunity.
Norwood with the free kick, high to the far post. Ahmedhodzic will rise with Egan, but it's Jerome who is back there, and he does well to turn and clear the ball downfield. But Sheffield United will try and keep the pressure on. 11 shots so far for Sheffield United, but only one on target. That was the goal.
Yeah, and I think, you know, we've got to question as well the quality of those chances, really. I think Luton have for sure had the better chances throughout the game.
McBurney jabs it across the penalty area, but it's headed away by Bell. A lunging low, unable to control. Bree now plays it long and high for Luton. Adebayo in pursuit. Ahmedhodzic will clear the ball away, but Berry almost wins it back. And here is Clark on the halfway line for Luton. Adebayo makes the run to the right, and he's got the ball now inside the penalty area, but it's left for Bree. Cross to the far post. Bell will control and strike it, but it's blocked inside the area by Baldock, and it's cleared away by Sheffield United. But Bell will sprint to try and keep the ball in play, and in the end Baldock does well to shepherd the ball behind, and it's a goal kick.
Yeah, and Bree does really well there, the way he digs out that cross, and it's an awkward position for Amari Bell. You see he's charging in, he's trying to get there, but it bounces just before him. He can't hit it first time, he has to take a touch, and that gives enough time for Baldock to get in and get the block in.
9,882 is the crowd here. Just over 1,000 have made the journey down the M1 on a Friday night to support Sheffield United. Amassar clears downfield looking for McBurney, but it's then headed square by Lowe, but straight to Bell, and we are in the 89th minute here. Long and high looking for Jerome. It's cleared away, but quickly won back by Berry, who breaks into the penalty area, but a good challenge from Basham. Had to time that inside the box, and did. And now Norwood brings it forward for Sheffield United, finding Berger. Brewster makes the run to the left to try and create the space for Berger. Now Brewster inside the area, but a sliding challenge from Burke sends the ball behind for a corner to Sheffield United.
Yeah, I thought that was a really good touch by Brewster initially, and actually it was. He gets the ball out on his back foot in front of him, but Burke he timed the challenge so well, because if he gets that wrong, it's a penalty.
And Doyle will take the corner kick on this near side. Egan makes the run to the near post, but it's headed away by Clark, and very few corners for Sheffield United have got beyond the near post this evening. Now Doyle swings it back into the penalty area. It's allowed to bounce, almost breaks for McBurney, but it's cleared away, and Luton now will try and break. Jerome finding Adebayo, and Burke plays it wide to this near side. Clark looking a bit weary, but he's in pursuit, but Lowe gets there first and plays it downfield, and Brewster is able to bring the ball down and turn, and he turns infield towards the Luton Town goal, and he strikes it right-footed, but it's a comfortable save in the end for Horvath.
I think he can drive forward a little bit more there. It's not bad. He gets a good connection on the ball, but he's a good 25 yards out. I think it opened up for him. He can steal a few more yards there.
Adebayo heads it down to the far side, but Baldock goes back to Amassar, and he's done well since coming on, the youngster. There will be a minimum of 7 more minutes, and that could be extended here, because there was an aerial duel between McBurney and Lockyer, and McBurney has gone down in some pain. Lockyer is trying to help him to his feet, but I think he felt that one as well, and the referee at the moment is not calling on the medical team, and he's telling McBurney to get up.
I think that's quite harsh, really, in terms of...
He fell from a great height, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, he looks to be getting up now. Him and Lockyer, were fine with each other, but it just looked very, very awkward the way that McBurney fell there.
And off the ball, Reece Burke was also down as well, I think maybe with cramp, and he's helped out by Jordan Clark. And play will restart with a drop ball inside the Luton area.
And I'm not surprised in terms of the tempo that this game has been played at. We're getting to the latter stages of the game now, and as you say, there's a few tired bodies littering the pitch.
Cleared long downfield by Horvath once again, nodded down by Jerome. Campbell heads it towards the edge of the area. It's flicked on by Jerome towards Adebayo. Can he turn? He tries to bulldoze his way through, but Basham again. Excellent defending from him to turn and clear under pressure. Now Bell for Luton, down the right-hand side. Back in field to Clark. Clark jabs it down the line, but straight to Norwood. And McBurney gathers. He plays it long, looking for Brewster, but Lockyer gets there first. Now Potts with a high ball forward for Luton, and one bounce into the arms of Amerson. And at the moment, neither side is settling for the points in added time, but Sheffield United continuing to really carry the threat in terms of the more constructive football now, but Luton are a side who are like a dog with a bone. They never give a team a moment's notice. But Berger wins it on the halfway line for Sheffield United, but Campbell with an excellent challenge, but then Berger comes back to pick his pocket. Norwood with a high ball forward. Brewster was offside, but his leap makes no connection with the ball, and Luton will quickly play on as it's bowled out by Horvath towards Burke, who breaks over the halfway line on this near side, the right, finds Bree. Bree, though, I think was trying to help the ball further on for Burke, but there was a lack of communication, and it will be a throw-in on this near side for Sheffield United.
Yeah, he just gets that wrong, doesn't he? Burke does really well the way that he's driving out, eating up the yards in front of him, plays it into Bree, and as you say, I think he's trying to give it him back in the channel, but just gets his touch completely wrong.
We played 2.5 minutes of the 7 initially allocated. 1-1 here on TalkSport 2. Ahmed Hodzic will clear it downfield again. It's then kneed forward by Lockyer over the top. Bree will challenge on this near side, and the ball just brushed his shoulder as Lowe cleared, and it will be a throw-in to Sheffield United. Ahmed Hodzic will take it, and he's waving everybody forward. And there's good distance down the line. McBurney was nudged into by Burke there before he'd left the ground, but Burke won the header, and now Adebayo plays it forward to Jerome, and he breaks into the box, fires in the shot, and it's turned away superbly by Jefferson, and the standing goalkeeper makes a brilliant save in added time.
What a save that is. What a fantastic save for all the world. That looks like it's heading to the top left-hand corner, but Amerson somehow scrambles over, gets fingertips to it to push it over the bar. What a save.
Corner kick though for Luton. On the far side, Sheffield United pull everybody back. Lofted high into the 6-yard area, and it was Lockyer who rose with the header, but the final touch was off a Sheffield United player, and it will be another corner as we tick towards the 5th minute of added time. 1-1.
If it does stay 1-1, Sheffield United have got Amerson to thank for it. What a brilliant save that was from the youngster.
Bree has come across to this near side to take the corner. This will be an outswinger with the right foot. High towards the far post again. McBurney leaping to head the ball clear. Clark now wins it back on the left-hand side. He delivers a low cross in, but it was Brewster who was back there to make the challenge, and Luton have the throw-in. And it will be left for Amari Bell to try and launch this into the penalty area. Sheffield United working hard at the moment to protect a point here. Thrown short to Clark again. And now Bell plays it back towards Clark. The cross will be delivered into the penalty area now. McBurney with a back header across his own 6-yard area, but Norwood is able to clear, but he just launches the ball down the line and straight out of play, and it will be a throw-in to Luton. And Bree very quickly plays it all the way back towards Horvath, and Horvath now will look to launch it in the 96th minute. High towards Adebayo once again, but Basham will clear. Now Berger. His long ball forward is nodded back by Bell. Strong finish this from Luton, as then Doyle is caught in the midriff by Berry's challenge, and it will be a free kick to Sheffield United, and we have 90 seconds of the 7 minutes to play.
Just still thinking about that Amosar save. He does so well with it. It's the way that he moves his feet so quickly to get across, and then the power. It's one thing getting your fingertips to that ball, but that shot from Adebayo had a lot of power on it, so being strong enough to tip it over the bar, very impressive.
And of course, if you are a backup goalkeeper, of course you play development games, but you have to wait a long time for opportunities, and to come on late in a game like this is a testing situation, but he's risen to the challenge so far, as Lowe's high ball forward for Sheffield United is claimed by Horvath. Good throw from him to find Burke. Quickly played long and high towards Jerome. Jerome brings it down. Berry breaking into the penalty area, strikes it into the back of the net, but in the end he has been penalised for handball. He just shoveled the ball on with his left hand there as he came into the penalty area, and it was cleared away very close to the goal line, but it's irrelevant anyway because it's a free kick.
Yeah, and it's good play though in terms of Burke. I like the way he gets down the right hand side. It's a good ball in. Jerome does well, very strong, nods it down, but as you say, just the use of the hand there.
But Luton have been direct at times, but they don't always look to play that long ball. It's bizarre that at times they do play out from the back. They've got a good mix, and clearly tonight Nathan Jones thought that he can pin back the wing-backs and pressurise the back three by knocking it long as the full-time whistle goes. Really good game. Sheffield United, the leaders, emerge from Kenilworth Road with a point thanks to Ollie McBurney's first goal since December 2020. Luton dominated long spells in the first half, got the early goal from Carlton Morris, so they had to ride out the storm at times in the second half, but overall a point, a fair result. Luton Town 1, Sheffield United 1.